Algebra 1, Lesson 113, page 473. We have direct and indirect variation. Now, direct variation is just a straight multiplication problem. This one here is going to have a fraction over here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. There's 4 steps to work these every time. There's 4 steps. So when you go, and let's just start and read one, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Example on page 475, 113.1. You really need to be looking at this and read it as I do. The mass of a substance varies directly as the volume of the substance. Okay, so the mass of the substance looks like this, varies directly with the volume of the substance, and it's going to vary at a certain rate. This K is the amount of variation. This is called a constant. It's always in there. This is the multiplier that's going to change the volume. It's going to change the mass. It's direct variation. As this gets larger, this gets larger. As this gets larger, this gets larger by that amount. All right? So that's a direct variation. And now we keep reading. It says the mass of 2 liters as a substance is 10 kilograms, if I could read correctly. So it says the mass of 2 liters. Now, 2 liters is volume. So there's 2 liters. And the mass is 10 kilograms. So the first step, we have to have the equation. Now, this is the numbers that go in here. You have to recognize that liters is volume and kilograms is mass. The first thing we have to do is find K. Pretty easy. We divide by 2. So 5K. That is our constant. Constant means it doesn't change. So now we're going to go to the second part of the problem. We found K. K is going to go right there. So now watch this. The second part says what will be the volume of 35 kilograms of substance. So I have 35 kilograms. Wow. If I could write, this would be amazing. We have 35 kilograms. That's mass that goes over here. It says what will be the volume. That means I don't know the volume. And the constant, K, is 5. Does that make sense? We want to find what the volume will be. So you solve. Divide by 5. So the volume equals 7. 7 equals the volume. There you go. Nobody, again, knows exactly what I'm doing. So direct variation is a straight-across multiplication problem like this. We have mass equals volume. And as mass changes, volume changes at this rate. As volume changes, mass changes at this rate. K is the constant. So the first step is to fill in, they will give you a mass, they will give you a volume. They'll give you these 2 variables. You use that to find K. Whatever it is what it is. Decimal, fraction, it doesn't matter. But that is what K is equal to, and don't go with the repeating decimal because you don't know how to deal with that. If it's a repeating decimal, make it a fraction. So the constant is 5. That is what it's going to be. That is the constant. That's not changing. Now they give you either a new mass or a new volume. If it's mass, you put it in here. If you're looking for volume, you put the constant right here because that's this. To find out what volume is, you divide. If they didn't give you this, but they gave you volume, you'd multiply, and there's your answer. So on direct variation, you find the constant. You put the numbers in, find the constant. Then you find they will give you either one of the 2 variables. You put it in wherever it belongs, and you have the constant, so you'll either divide or multiply to find the other variable. All right? Indirect variation. And the word you're looking for is on the first one. It says varies directly. Varies directly. That's this. All right? The next one down here, let's see. Where do they do inverse variation? Next page, 113.4. Under certain conditions, the pressure of a perfect gas varies inversely as the volume. Under certain conditions, the pressure varies inversely as volume. So it says pressure varies inversely as volume. This is an indirect variation. This is a direct variation. You see the difference. This is an inverse variation. As this one gets bigger, this one gets bigger. Inverse variation, as this one gets bigger, this one gets smaller. Do you understand that? as this one gets bigger, that becomes a bigger fraction, this gets smaller. Again, it has a constant on top. They're going to give us the pressure and the volume to start with, and we find the constant. And then they're going to either give us a new pressure or a new volume. Using the same constant, we find the one we don't have. All right, so here we go. When the pressure of a quantity of gas is 7 pascals, the volume is 75 liters. So the pressure is 7, volume is 75. Pressure is 7, volume is 75. There's the K. All right, so make sure I got that written in the right place. Yep. All right, so now what we have to do is find what K is. How do we get rid of this 75? Well, how are these two connected? They're connected by division. The opposite division is multiplication. So we're going to multiply over here by 75. And I'll get my little black box over here because it's always nice to have a little black box. So let's see, 75 times 5 equals, that's 375. So K equals 375. That is our constant, all right? Now, what's going to happen is either they're going to give us a new pressure or a new volume, but the constant is 375. We know that. So it says, what would be the volume if the pressure is increased to 15 pascals? So this is increased to 15, and we're looking for volume. All right, so long way, how do we do this? Number one, to get rid of volume here, we multiply over here. 15V equals 375. Volume equals 375 divided by 15. And I still have it in here, so I just hit divided by 15 equals 25. So here's the deal. We start with 7 pascals. Volume is 75 liters. If this increases to 15 pascals, do you understand? This went down to 25. The volume is smaller. Okay, as the pressure increases, the volume decreases. As the pressure increases, the volume decreases. This is indirect variation. So the indirect, if you see the word varies indirectly, the equation is going to look like this, the constant being on the top. If it's a direct variation, the equation is going to look like this. The constant is up here with the other thing. Again, both places, they'll give us the originals, and we have to find the constant. They give us the originals, we have to find the constant. We put down the equation again with the constant in it. They will either give us this variable or this variable, and we have to find the other one. We put the constant here. They will either give us this one or this one, and we have to find the one we don't have. Again, these are very simple once you understand that the equation is going to look like this for direct or this for indirect. The first step is to put your two original numbers in, find the constant in both cases. Then you're going to have the equation again with the constant in it and a new variable. You have to find the other variable. The exact same thing over there.